All right, welcome back, YouTube, to another live stream and video recording for afterwards. So in this live stream and video recording, we're going to be sussing through some more of Do Not God's bullshit. So this Inmendham guy is a pathological, lying, narcissistic, crazy person on the internet, also quite pseudo-intellectual in every way you could imagine, is cowardly declining to debate me for the last 4 months on any of the subjects that I've challenged him on that he talks about all the time on his channels. His physics shit, his bull fucking shit, his the imposition argument fucking sucks. Even if his points get granted that it's 99% of instances that consent is required for risk, it's still begging the question fallacy, and therefore not universal. It's not the exception to the rule, so it's a fallacy, and it's not 99%, as we've already highlighted. But he abandoned that in a recent engagement, and then tried to change the subject to his physics bullshit, to like muddy the waters because not that many people are interested in the physics bullshit, and he basically said that he, right here, as we can quote on the screen, you claim that my theory is unfalsifiable, but it is. First off, that first sentence, no, I claim that it's this, unfalsifiability, which is right on the screen right here. As you can see, the examples are just the exact same thing that he's doing ultimately. He has no test of his own. If you want the summary, if you don't like reading, he has no test of his own to prove his claims, but he critiques other people's tests and then claims that he has the truth and that their tests are false. And just to get the evidence of him confidently claiming that he has the truth and that their tests are false, here we have his thesis on his website. I mean, does his website not represent him? Is that what we're going to get a bunch of the sycophants and Inmendrones saying now? Does his website not represent him? Like, what are you going to say next, you know? So he says, on the correct theory of everything, he also meant, and then he tries, I've read through all this bullshit. I could address every issue with this, but the main issue being you don't even have to understand all of this fucking shit that he's typing here. It's just the conclusion. He's claiming that it does not contradict all of modern physics, and that what he has is true and all of modern physics is false. But it doesn't contradict any of the physical theories, any of the physical experiments, that specifically. And then he claims that it doesn't contradict, therefore it doesn't contradict any of the observations that they make either, because their physical tests are ultimately the observations. They predict the physical observations with the physical tests, and Gary doesn't have a physical test to claim that they are false or true that contradicts what they're saying. Okay, so he can't. It's unfalsifiability. It's the fallacy of unfalsifiability. It's the same thing as, he even goes as far as to claim that the things that he's talking about, the pushing and pulling, and pushing and particles pushing each other, are invisible. Just like if someone was to claim that, I have tiny invisible unicorns. His statements are just as valid as, I have tiny invisible unicorns living in my anus. Unfortunately, these cannot be detected by any kind of scientific experiment. So ultimately, these are the same department. It's the same department as, like, priests can literally turn water into the blood of Jesus, or wine into the blood of Jesus. Surely we can examine the liquid and see if it at least changes chemically, can we not? No, because transubstantiation is not about a physical or chemical change, but a change in substance, which of course is not a material change and therefore impossible to falsify. So, furthermore, the claim is not that it might be happening, just like with Gary, but it certainly is happening, adding to the fallaciousness of the claim. So the only evidence for this is some ambiguous verses in the Bible, so ambiguous that over 1 billion Christians don't subscribe to the belief of transubstantiation occurring. So we have unfalsifiability, the belief of certainty, and very weak evidence. Everywhere where it just put Christians, you could just put Inmendham or Inmendham. These people don't even ultimately understand like how to perform basic science and what it operates on. That sounds so condescending, but it's true. It's just true. They actually don't understand how to perform basic science, basic making a hypothesis and then predicting the hypothesis. And that's when you can claim something is true or false or not. They don't get that. They're just incredibly ignorant, incredibly deluded people. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with, and we're suffering here. And let's take some of his quotes, his direct quotes, okay? So we have on Vloggerdome. This was from years ago, so he might try to say that this is no longer his philosophy or something, but that just goes to show how much this guy changes the goals, and he changes everything you could imagine about this philosophy. In no way, shape, or form has he been consistent in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, let's just highlight that in this Vloggerdome video from years ago. So it's about physics. He wants to debate this 5 years ago. And so let's look. We're in the transcript here, so let's type invisible. Okay, so he literally says that the circumstances are invisible, and that just like an invisible unicorn living in his ass, that he can't, detect with any kind of physical experiment, but he's saying it's the truth that there's invisible unicorns living in his ass. Okay? I'm gonna have to plug in our headphones here. Okay, there we go. Let's plug in our headphones. Hello, everybody that's in the chat, by the way. There it is. Okay. Good, we got it now. So that it doesn't blow everyone's headphones off their heads. Okay, here we go.
It's the same.
Of course, it's playing through the fucking speakers. There we go.
It's not quite the same. So this is the first almost paradox of reality, is that we have this circumstance where there's an interaction that can be perceived as being invisible, essentially, or visible, dramatic. So something changes its direction by 90 degrees, or nothing really happened. And that's the mechanism of the universe, the function, is that really it's just directional information being exchanged once things get established in a circumstance. So think of it as...
So there you have it, direct quote from his video. You can't possibly, it's exactly the same as claiming that there's an invisible unicorn living in his ass and there's no physical experiment. He doesn't provide any physical experiment of his own that contradicts the modern physical experiments at all. And so he claims on my channel, when I was saying this in my last videos, and he joined up and he was claiming that, let's see if we could find it here really quick. Yeah, here it is. So he was claiming that he has proposed a laser bending experiment that physicists have never done. Okay? And now he says, and then he goes on to say that he's going to demolish everything. Let's see if we can find what when he says demolish. Then he goes on to say, he's DraftScience on the screen. Then he goes on to say, I'll make a video demolishing your line of reasoning here. Stay tuned in this live stream that we did. And he has no such thing uploaded in his last. He's just trying to change the subject and manipulate everything to try to shift the burden of proof onto everyone else by talking about other people's tests. And he doesn't even provide a test in any of his recent videos. We'll just go through the transcripts of those recent videos because, man, now that there's transcripts on YouTube, Gary is extra fucked over. I mean, he's not going to be able to lie profusely like this ever, like, anymore, you know? So, because there's so many, there's just transcripts now. So we could look up, like, how many times he mentions the word laser in every single one of these videos that he uploads. So, like, by the way, he doesn't make a video just addressing directly what I'm saying at all. So these are his recent uploads, and he doesn't address anything. He doesn't ever mention me in any of these videos. This was the video that he uploaded directly afterwards, directly after my video. That last video, it was 3 days ago. You guys can see on the screen there. We'll click on this.
Please.
We'll go to the transcript. And we already listened to this video. He's just shifting the burden of proof onto, but he has the burden of proof because he's claiming that something is true and that everyone else is false. So he has the burden of proof. He's just such a scum-filled fucking liar. It's the same thing that religious people do when they shift the burden of proof onto you to prove that their God exists, when it's just as valid as when the evidence for or against their God is just as valid as a spaghetti monster or unicorns living in their anus. If you've ever heard the spaghetti monster analogy given by Richard Dawkins, it goes something like this. When the religious people put forward, you can't prove or deny that my God is true, that my God is false, so therefore my God is true. Well, you can't confirm or deny that there's little microscopic spaghetti monsters flying around Mars right now. So that's just as valid as your claim that your God is true. And just like that, it's just as valid to claim that Gary has some sort of invisible pushers, as we heard earlier on in this video. And without any sort of physical test to prove his theory that contradicts the modern physical tests. So instead, he shifts the burden of proof, right? Unanswered questions. He shifts the burden of proof to all of these other scientific experiments when he is claiming that he has the truth. Okay? Do you, if you can't understand that, what this is under 15 minutes. We've gone through all of this. We've provided all the evidence that we would ever need to provide. You're just a fucking idiot if you don't understand this. You're just not listening. You need to rewatch the video. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to does he ever claim in this video anything about lasers? No, not a single time does he mention anything about his own laser experiment. He talks about he doesn't even mention the word laser at all in this video, as you guys could see, this unanswered questions video. Let's move that over a little bit. So he doesn't even mention it one single time, as you could see, 0 out of 0. Okay, he doesn't and he said in this video that he had a laser bending experiment, okay, that he was going to provide, and it's nowhere to be found at all in any of his freaking things. So we've already highlighted that earlier on in this video. He says it in this video here. So, and that he's going to make a video demolishing my my video, but he didn't do anything. He just did nothing at all. He's just a coward and a liar. So I have proposed a laser bending experiment. This is his direct quote on the screen right there. Okay, a laser bending experiment that physicists have never done. Okay, so total bullshit. doesn't provide any evidence for anything. He just says basically that he has invisible unicorns living in his anus. And unfortunately, these cannot be detected by any kind of scientific experiment. So it's just complete ridiculousness. There's just no possibility to recover from this for anybody that is a sane person that's, understands what's taking place. Yeah, we already looked down every single one of his science papers. We'll just go through each one of those really quickly to show you that he never mentioned anything about lasers, anything about his own laser experiment, specifically his own laser experiment. We'll go through the other link that's on there, the two-slit experiment one, which is other people's science experiment involving lasers. Okay, that's another science experiment completely that you are critiquing. You're not actually making your own that contradicts what they are saying. You're just saying, this is my opinion about this. So you can't claim that it's true, that it's just a truth, like you do ultimately. You can't do that confidently. But you're just such an arrogant pile of shit that you do that all the time. You're a religious, arrogant, stupid pile of cowardly shit that doesn't show up to debate the freaking subject and get it highlighted because he knows he would get freaking wrecked in a debate with me about the subject. He would get completely demolished. I don't even have to go into all of the physical experiments and everything because he doesn't have a physical experiment that contradicts the physical experiments, and he's claiming that he has the truth. Again, it's the fallacy of unfalsifiability. We've gone over this a bunch of times. It's the equivalent to saying what he said earlier on about it being invisible. It's just totally invisible, and in one end there's just nothing, and in the other end there's something pushing. And he said that earlier on. He said the words invisible. I mean, literally, that it's invisible. It's the same thing as saying, I have tiny, invisible unicorns living in my ass. Unfortunately, these cannot be detected by any kind of physical experiment, but it's the truth. Therefore, it's the truth. Because, that's what Gary is saying. All right? So, while it may be actually, while it may, just to be really clear again, while it actually may be a fact that tiny invisible pushers or, unicorns living in Gary's ass actually exist, tiny mythological creatures are occupying his ass, then it's I like how they say this, at the lower end of the alimentary canal instead of his ass. But anyways, yeah, it's his ass, right? He's just pulling all of this unicorn shit out of his ass. And so it is a theory that is constructed so it cannot be falsified in any way. Therefore, should not be taken seriously, considering that it doesn't have any scientific evidence. All right? So there you go. It's completely dismantled, under 20 minutes. Absolutely no excuse to not respond to this. Thank you all for listening. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. Hello, Litex. I see you in the chat over there. The scientific experiment, the scientific method is thought in ninth grade. LOL. Taught, you meant, or that's not how you spell taught either, bud. But anyhow, yeah. So you gave it a good shot. So yeah, look, yes, it is taught in ninth grade. I get what you're saying though, and yes, this is completely like child type shit that Gary is performing here. It's not some sort of coherent methodology for refuting all of modern physics. And just the fact that he is putting this forward as that is embarrassing, humiliating, and you should be humiliated for thinking that this is a smart human being, basically, at the end of the day. And I wanted to do this very nicely initially, but Gary just lied and slandered about me and tried to destroy me for months on end. And now I've done nothing but provide exact evidence in one concise, simple video. There's just absolutely no possible fucking way you could possibly, yeah, Latex, you really got to up your fucking standards, okay? That was that was bullshit. We don't accept that shit here on this channel. Those are subpar fucking comments. But it's okay. It was in the live chat, I guess. So thank you all for listening, and I hope you have as least shitty of an evening or afternoon or morning or whatever it is wherever you are. And just a brief 20-minute video crushing everything that Inmendham is saying. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that we could cover here. What else did he say? We'll just document more of his shit talking here. He shifts the burden of proof. We've already highlighted that. So just rewatch this video all the way through if you want a complete debunk of Inmendham's cowardice, bullshit, and just garbage science. Okay? So, all right, thank you. Again, I'm still a negative utilitarian and an anti-natalist, and I would press the red button, all that good stuff. You know, if we could get 100% of it, yeah, so only if, you know. So that's all I really want to talk about. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have as least shitty of an evening or afternoon or morning or whatever it is wherever you are. And until next time, I sent Gary on every medium. If I didn't cover this already, I think I did. I sent him on every medium. It just says waiting for Do Not God to accept invitation on Skype. I added him on another account as well. There was the only 2 Do Not Gods. I sent them both friend requests, and the guy just doesn't even fucking respond. Okay, he could have joined up in over the last so many months on any of the Sundays at 12 noons. We invite people to join in the link below every single Sunday at 12 noon. He's never joined to defend his bullshit. Not one single time. Anything anyone disagrees with me on, you could just join and debate vocally over the last 10, 11 weeks, you could do that. Okay, every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So be there Sundays at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time and defend what you're saying, Gary. Or send me a message back here and add me on here and stop being a coward, and let's debate the subject. Why won't you debate the subject? Oh, it's because you're gonna get wrecked, isn't it? Yes, and you've done nothing but lie and slander me for months on end. So you deserve no sympathy from anyone that is fucking sane. You fucking moron. There should be nothing less but a complete disregard of this man after this point. If you're a sane human, you don't regard this person as a figure that can be looked up to at all anymore at this point. It's over completely. It's game over. The guy's a moron. He's a liar. He's a scumbag. Okay? Thank you all for listening, and until next time. And this is ample evidence in this video for that. Okay. All right. Bye now.